live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Back to another episode of Loungetime. I'm your host, Rich Saile, and today we got some stuff to cover. I know I'm super late to the party. You guys were waiting for my instant week one reactions. I know. It's been crazy. Your boy's getting some work taken care of. Nothing bad, I promise, but it's going to be specified later in the season because I don't want to bring it up right now. It's nothing bad. It's just some stuff that I'd rather for the moment just focus on. It's some broadcasting work. That's a hint, okay? But we got to go over some week one games. We got a lot that we're going over. So we used to do it back in the previous years for the real OG Loungetime fans. We used to do every game. But then it got really high as far as minutes. So I was like, scrap all this. We're going to the games that we're close, that everybody probably doesn't know a lot about. And we're going to give kind of my instant thoughts on it. So we're just kind of doing it. We did it last year too, where we went to like all the really close games and we just talked about most of those games, right? Or the big games and stuff, right? We'll have the Jets-Niners. We'll have the Cowboys-Browns. We'll have the Rams-Lions. So those games, we got you covered. There are some early 1 o'clock games that people were like, I didn't know what about that outcome. Yeah, well, we got you covered. Plus, we got week 2 picks. We're going over Bills-Dolphins. There's some seriousness with Tua again. I'm going to go over that. Plus, your boy went 2-0 in Survivor. The Bills and the Saints clutched up. All right? So both won last week. We got 2 more Survivor picks. Plus, we got some more GUA-RAN-TEES coming up. You better believe it. Yes, I love the Charles Barkley guarantees. I have more this week. Let's get into the action, right? So, we're going to start off with guess who by the gear. The New England Patriots going to Cincinnati. The start of the GUA-RAN-TEES era. Guys, I lost my voice for like a week. So, you guys kind of didn't want to hear me right off the bat because I would have sounded like Doc Rivers. And yes, I would have sounded like the Doc Rivers that lost his voice. That would have been me. So I kind of wanted to say, like, I didn't really want to sound like Doc Rivers in this episode. So I got my voice back. I'm still going to rest it up a little bit. I got to make sure I don't go crazy with the Seahawks-Patriot game tomorrow. Yes, I'll be watching, but I'll have another game watching on the side. But let's get into the Patriots-Bengals. So if you guys remember, I did say on the show, take the 8 points with New England. And you people were probably like, what the fuck are you talking about, Rich? Why? They don't have Bill Belichick anymore. I said, you got to keep an eye on T. Higgins being out, which he was. Jamar Chase did play. I said, if one of them's out, I would definitely take the 8. If both are out, I would really love the 8. But if one of them were out, I would still take it. I said also, trap game. They always start off slow. They think they're going to beat New England. And they're looking ahead because it's Kansas City. I said that on the Sports Yammer, okay, one of my buddies' shows on 107.7 The Bronx. So I did talk about that. And I talked about it on Saturday last time as well, that the episode did get out a little late because I did it late Sunday morning. But I'm doing it Saturday night. That way you guys have time to look through the episode and get your picks in. So, back to the game. The only way that I said New England could win is if you play ball control and you don't turn it over. That's exactly what they did. And Jacoby Brissett, I said also, is not a bad quarterback. Okay? I got a friend of mine probably watching that's like, well, he didn't win you the game. No, he didn't, but he made the throws when he needed to. He didn't turn it over. And right now, that's what you want from a veteran quarterback. You don't want to throw Drake May in with an unsure offensive line and ruin his confidence. So I was fine with that move by Jerod Mayo to start Brissett. Drake May's getting more and more first-team reps, so I'm fine with this. I'm absolutely fine with this. Okay? Right now, the best thing for him is to learn. Brissett's been a good veteran in this league. He's won some games. Okay? So I'm fine with this. Ramondre Stevenson. The bell cow's back, baby. Okay? He did awesome. All right? Looking at my numbers. 25 for 120 yards and a touchdown. Okay? He was the bell cow. He's the best player on offense. Give him the ball. The offensive line, 1 sack allowed. And I was not going to lie. I was very concerned about that offensive line. Very, very concerned. Did a good job. Really, really good job. Against a good Lou Anarumo defense they did really good. Okay? Just the running game really, really hurt them. But what did I also say? Alex Van Pelt, Brissett, they got the Cleveland offense from Stefanski that they brought in, and they played the Bengals twice a year, so they're familiar with that. That's also why I took New England plus the 8. Okay? So that's that for you. Those of you that paid attention and actually took the bet. Okay? Now, we all have different reasons. That's fine, but those are my reasons. Okay? Keon White, 2.5 sacks. Bill Belichick's football guy of the week. Dude, he looked depressed when he got drafted. I learned that this man never smiles, but he balls out on the field, man. Everything I heard in Patriots training camp said Keon White is going to make a big jump. Breakout season incoming. And I was like, okay. But then when we got rid of Matt Judon, I'm thinking, is he going to take the big leap? Because it's him and Uche then. And now I'm looking at this game and I'm going, maybe they think he's ready to take that big leap. And that would make sense. And it's always been with Bill and all those guys to go younger when an aging veteran's coming up, right? And I like Judon. Judon did a lot of great things for us. But Keon White in that game, if he continues to play like he did, impact the game, then that Judon move I'm fine with. But listen, he had a great game against Cincinnati. That was huge. The turning point in that game, though, was when Kyle Duggar peanut punched Tanner Hudson as he was about across the goal line. That was the difference, because that would have tied the game up. Okay? Instead, they lost by 6. That would have given the Bengals basically the win. Okay? That was a huge play. How about the special teams, bro? I mean, they got a huge fumble on the punt late in the third quarter, and I'm going, bro, our special teams is nasty. Like, that was a really, really big play as well. I always say this, okay? There's 5, well, Tony Dungy, I think, said it too. It originated from him. There's 5 to 7 plays in a game that decide a game. Those 2 I just mentioned were huge, because those were the 2 turnovers the Bengals had. And then you got Ramondre Stevenson getting the big plays, right? New England made those plays, right? Now, you're probably thinking, Rich, don't get high. It's one game. I'm not. But I got to say this. When you look at the 53-man roster, it sucks. Okay? But this game was without Christian Barmore. Imagine when Christian Barmore gets back how good that Patriots defense is going to be. All the offense has to do is just play a ball control game and don't turn it over. And let the defense just do the heavy lifting. You do that, you got a shot. Because the division, I got to say, we'll talk about it a little bit later. That division's looking, like the Bills are going to win it. But outside of that, the Jets should make the playoffs, but they got some internal struggles going on. Miami might be without Tua for some significant time. Meanwhile, everybody thinks we're gonna suck. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought this team was gonna be probably stuck where it was from last year because the roster's bad, the offense is But after watching Cincinnati, I'm going. There's a slight chance. I said there's a slight chance. There's a slight chance we may be better than I thought going into the season. We may be better than I thought. Okay? Especially looking at teams like Carolina, the Giants, the Browns. They look fucking awful. They look fucking awful. Now, I always say week one's the biggest overreaction in all of the NFL. But looking at those three teams compared to us, and everybody thought we were going to be that bad, I don't think we're that bad right now. Now, we might be. But looking at that game, I'm thinking we might be okay. Again, I'm happy if this team gets 6 wins. That's how low my expectations are. If they get 6 wins or more, I'll take it. I'll take it. But if not, it won't surprise me because we might get a high top 10 draft pick, probably top 5. All right? Which brings me to the Bengals. They are known for starting off slow. Joe Burrow, 21-29, 164 yards. That's a damn good defense, though. Right? Now, you're probably thinking, Rich, he should have done way better than what he was. Yes, first game off of a thumb injury. I think his shoulder bothered him or something to an extent. I know it was definitely with the wrist or something. That was definitely something like that. Zach Moss had a rushing touchdown. He's like a natural Patriot killer. I'll never forget him in Buffalo. He killed us. I think the Colts, he did pretty solid for them. I think he scored against us last year. I didn't even watch that game in London, so somebody fact check me on that. But, dude, he's always known as a Patriot killer, Zach Moss. He always is. And then, one more side note. Every time we get a Patriot killer, they do shit for us. But when they play for another team, they always kill us. The best example recently was the worst gritty to ever exist. Mike Gesicki tried to fucking do the gritty after he had a supposedly touchdown. That was another big play in the game. And the ball hits the ground as he's trying to maintain the process of the catch. And I'm like, you really thought you were going to fucking try the worst gritty to ever exist on us, Mike Gesicki? Yeah, fuck you, man. He fucking had one shining moment catching the game-winning touchdown against Buffalo, and that was the only thing that man did for us. That was the only thing he did for us. He did shit after that. Yeah, okay, worst gritty to ever exist. Sit down, bro. All right, worst gritty to ever exist. Still, that will be for your forever nickname. I don't care. All right? Defense, though, I said 16 points allowed, 1 sack. Right? That's good enough to win. Your offense definitely shit the bed. All right? Jamar Chase, when got by Gonzo, got him locked up. 3 catches for 14 yards. Don't let him get free. No way. And I did steal a Shannon Sharp thing from Undisputed. Yes, if you remember that, okay? 4 of 11 on third down, 2 turnovers, right? Looking at New England's numbers, 6 of 15 on third down, 1 for 4 in the red zone. Big win for my team opening day. All right? Now, I'm going to say this. I know it's week 1, but I might not say this much this season. But New England, stand up! New England, stand up! New England, stand up! 1-0. 1-0. All right? What a good chance to go to 2-0, hopefully, okay? Mike McDonald now taking over for Pete Carroll's team. They got to travel all the way from Pacific Northwest all the way to the East Coast. Time travel. Home opener, right? What a good shot to go 2-0. I'm not getting my hopes up, right? But there's a chance. There's a chance to go 2-0, okay? 1-3 was what the expected start was. Some people thought 0-4. To get 1 win out of this, I mean, I'll take it. But to go 2-0 in the first 2 weeks, what a chance at that would make me very, very happy. That would make me very, very happy. And I'm looking at Miami with the quarterback situation going on. I'm looking at the Jets having some internal turmoil at the moment, right? And Buffalo, we know they're going to win the division, right? But I'm going, we have a little hope. Not a lot. I know we're going to suck. But I got to celebrate this game one more day before Sunday because I just have this weird feeling. It's, if it's Bell, see, this is the one thing I will say. before we move on to the next game. If Bill Belichick was coaching, I know he's getting his team ready for Seattle on Monday. 100%, right? I would feel a little more comfortable with that transition. But because it's Sherrod Mayo, I don't know how to feel about that, right? So that's why I'm not as entirely confident as the Seattle matchup. But I do think they looked all right against Denver. So I'm like, okay, maybe we'll be all right. But Seattle with Metcalf, Smith and Jigba, Lockett, that's going to be a problem. But we have a pretty damn good secondary that I think is really, really good. So I think it should be an interesting matchup. Kenneth Walker's doubtful, so that's another thing to keep an eye on too. Might sneak a play in for the bets I like this week. Titans Bears. Will Levis. I'm not sold on him. I wasn't sold on him last year. I know he looked good with Vrabel, right? But he made some bonehead mistakes where you're going, what the fuck throw were you trying to pull off there? And I go, this is the guy Mel Kiper likes. This is the guy that everybody thought should have been a first rounder initially that ended up going in round 2. I'm going, he's from Kentucky. No. He was fine being in round 2. You know who he reminds me of? Remember when Deshaun Kaiser was getting a lot of hype from Notre Dame? That people thought he should have been a top 5 pick? And I had it in that mock draft, for the real OGs that know me, going back to my high school days when I actually wrote up my own mock drafts, I had Deshaun Kaiser not even going in the first round. And people were like, what the fuck drugs are you on, Rich? I'm like, I'm not on any drugs. I'm just telling you, Deshaun Kaiser's not going first round. Will Levis reminds me of Deshaun Kaiser, but a little better, obviously. Okay? But Will Levis did not play well. 19 to 32, 127 yards, a touchdown, 2 picks. Tony Pollard, though, ran the ball well, 16 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown, right? So the running game, it did pretty good, okay? Defense, 2 sacks. Really, they allowed 12 points. That's good enough. Your offense was mediocre. Your defense was good. Your special teams was basically the deciding factor. You botched that also. Your offense was kind of it wasn't that great. Okay? 8 penalties, though. 3 turnovers. Bro, you got to get that shit cleaned up. Guess who you play? You play the Jets in your home opener? They were one of my options for Survivor. They were one of my options, okay? And I'll go through my options who I would take if you guys are looking for some different Survivor pools or if you use the team that I am picking this week. But, hint, that might be one of those teams. Because the Titans suck. All right? The hint, you know it. Meanwhile, the Bears. Caleb Williams. Not good his first game. What did I say going into that game last episode? When he has to play really good defenses to the elite defenses, he sucks. Okay, that's exactly. Now, again, the Titans, they're not even that good. Guess who you played, Caleb? You played the Texans. That's not going to go well. D'Amico Ryans is probably going to send the blitz at him, disguise him. Oh, my God, another team. I think the Texans give him a way bigger fits on Caleb Williams than what the Titans did. And the Titans did pretty damn good on Caleb Williams. Here's his numbers. 14 of 29 for 93 yards. As a number 1 pick, that's bad. That's bad. Now you're like, Rich, but you wanted Caleb Williams. I did, because the talent's there. Now, I'm not going to panic because it's one game. But this is the one red flag that I had with Caleb Williams. Talent's undeniable. Okay, the Mahomes comp I'm fine with because he's got the build like him. He's got the arm. He's got the contorted body angle throws, okay, that he can make off platform, right? He's got that, okay? The scrambling ability, yes. But as far as playing well against the elite defenses, that's the big red flag, okay? That's the only thing I was worried about with Caleb Williams because that's why I said you need the right coach, you need the right system with him because that's how he's going to be really good. Now, I'm not a big Matt Eberflus fan. I still am not. I don't think even Ryan Poles is that great of a GM. He's made some nice moves, but no way is he a fucking top-notch GM. He's all right, okay? I think they're under some major scrutiny this year. But, again, it's one game. Their defense did pretty damn good. They got a pick six on Will Levis. Their special teams got a touchdown, right? Okay. And then 2 of 13 on third down. Awful. Awful. Okay. 7 penalties for 55 yards. This team, and Nick Wright, who I despise, has the balls to say that his take of the Bears going to the Super Bowl is a better take than the Bengals beating the Chiefs. We'll get to the bandwagons in a minute. But Nick Wright, how were you not voted the most annoying sports media member? I know people say Stephen A. Smith. I get it. I don't even have an issue with people saying Skip Bayless for all that matter. Nick Wright to me is the most annoying fucking sports media ever. I absolutely despise him. The Bears are not even the 8th best team in the NFC. You ready for what I have ahead of them right now after week 1? I have the Eagles ahead of them. I have Dallas ahead of them. I have the Packers when Jordan Love gets back. I have the Lions ahead of them. That's 4. It's 4. I have Tampa ahead of them. And I like Tampa's team. The Rams and the Niners. And I have Atlanta depending on what Kirk Cousins does. But right now, I'll give Atlanta even the slight edge. You're not even the 9th best. You maybe at best case the 9th best team in the NFC. At best case the 9th best team in the NFC. That's not saying much. So, Nick Wright, you're on drugs, bro. Stop smoking the fucking whatever shit you're on because you're delusional. Don't even dare say that your takes are better than that, bro. Do we forget, too, that Burrow has beaten Mahomes outside of Goatman? Oh, yeah. We didn't forget? Okay. We'll save that for the bandwagons later. We'll save it later. Okay? Jacksonville, Miami. Trevor Lawrence. I like him. To me, the best college quarterback prospect I've ever seen. I was very little when Andrew Luck came out. And when I say little, I was like, he came out, 2012? So I was 13 years old, right? So I didn't watch him a lot in college. I really started watching college football, 2013, a little in 14, 15, a little. And in 16, I kind of started watching a little bit more because that was when, there were some people there in high school. Like, Saeed Blacknall went to Penn State, and that's when they had Saquon Barkley. That's when I started watching a little more college. So I've watched Trevor Lawrence. I didn't blame him year 1. Urban Meyer, we get all that. Year 2, took a step forward with Doug Peterson. Year 3, I was like, okay, he got hurt, and they weren't really the same after that. Well, no, he didn't get hurt. They were 9-3, and they collapsed. And you come out with an average performance against a below-average Miami Dolphin defense? Come on, Trevor. Now, it's not entirely his fault. It's not. But Trevor Lawrence needs to take that leap. He just got paid $50+ million. And you put up, ready? 12 of 21 for 162 yards and a touchdown? That's not what a $50 million quarterback's worth. Not for that. Come on, Trevor. You're better than this, man, okay? You're a number 1 pick. You have all the physical tools to be really good. Step up. Okay, this is where you're supposed to be ascending. Not these fucking peaks and plateaus of inconsistency. I like him. I want him to be really good. And I know he's got the fucking talent. Now, I get it. We want instant coffee. But the man's had 4 years. And he just got paid. And you can't light up Miami? Miami lost Xavier Howard. Gone. Jalen Ramsey's getting older. Javon Holland is there, and Jordan Poyer are good safeties. But they lost Christian Wilkins to the Raiders. And Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb coming off torn ACLs. You kidding me? You can only put up 162 yards of offense? Passing? Come on, Trevor. Come on. Now, ETN, he had a touchdown, but he fumbled at the 3-yard line. You hold on to that ball, we're talking a whole different conversation here. Okay? Jacksonville would be 1-0, and Miami would be 0-2 right now. ETN fumbled. That, another big play. What does that do? Miami gets life. Tyreek Hill, 80-yard touchdown. They win by 3. Fucking lucky-ass Miami Dolphins. Defense, 2 sacks, 20 points allowed. That's, in today's league, that's pretty damn good. Considering people give up 23 a game like it's nothing. 20 should get you the job. Your offense should be able to score 21, especially against Miami's defense. Not good enough. 2 of 10 on third down, awful. 8 penalties for 71 yards. Major cleanup. You got Cleveland this week. Losing that game, 0-2, there's some serious question marks. Serious question marks. Which brings me to Tua. You know who Tua reminds me of, guys? Now, you're probably like, well, is that really a fair comparison? Because didn't one guy just win a title? And this is not a football player comparison. This is a basketball player comparison. I'm going to compare Tua to Jason Tatum here. Because a lot of people really like Jason Tatum in the NBA. I do. Okay, I think Tatum has gone farther and done more in the postseason than what Tua has. And I get, like, Tatum has beaten some elite teams. And he's also lost to some teams that were obviously, like, not great, like Miami. But Tua, he will beat up on the below average teams. And Jacksonville's a slightly above average. But their defense is not that good. And we're going to look here and say that 23 of 37 for 338 and a touchdown is good. What did I say about the Jaguars? I got serious questions about their defense. Serious questions. So, no, I'm not impressed with the numbers. No. He did not play all that great. Okay? He did not. Now that ETN fumble bailed him out, for sure. But again, we're going to get to him in the second game as well because there's some more serious shit I got to get to there. But, no, not impressed. Tyreek Hill, 7 for 130 yards and a touchdown. He got voted number 1 player in the NFL by the players this year. No surprise why. Jalen Waddle, 5 for 109. Defense of Miami, 17 points allowed, 3 sacks. They were 50% on third down, 8 of 16. 9 penalties for 103 yards. Get this, though. Weren't they also like 1 for 4 or 1 for 5? Oh, no, I'm thinking the Buffalo game. Mike McDaniel has the genius from Yale, but I think he's a little too nice with his team, and I know that's his style, but 9 penalties for 103 yards. We'll get to that more with the Thursday game. I want to get through the 1 o'clockers. Texans-Colts. This was a damn good game. Really good game. I wanted to watch this, but I was so hooked on New England, Cincinnati. I was like stunned that we were up. I'm like, I got to see if we can hold on to this game. But CJ Stroud, 24-32. 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. That man, bro, he just keeps getting better and better. That throw to Nico Collins was a little on the throne, but my God, I was like, whoa. Okay. That was damn impressive. And then apparently, Bill Belichick saying on Inside the NFL, the late throw in the fourth quarter was the throw of the year. I didn't see that. But when Bill Belichick says that, it's like, okay. Like, he's must watch. I'm looking forward to to them playing the Bears, because that's going to be a game I think he's going to light up the Bears. I do. And this guy, I would not be surprised if he ends up top 5 in MVP voting as a sophomore in this league. This guy's been impressive. He won me over late last season. And he just keeps getting better and better. Stephon Diggs, 2 receiving touchdowns. Joe Mixon, who came from the Bengals. Boy, they missed him on Sunday. 30 carries for 159 yards and a touchdown. That's crazy. That's crazy. 30 for a $159 and a touchdown for Joe Mixon. Diggs at 2 receiving touchdowns. Nico Collins, 6 for 117. Okay? That offensive line is concerning, though. 4 sacks allowed for the Texans' offensive line. That's my one area where I'm like, they got to just be able to protect Stroud, because teams like Baltimore, Kansas City, the Jets pass rush, they're going to find a way to get the quarterback, and guess what? You better protect him. You better protect him. 7 of 14 on third down. Pretty damn good, man. Pretty damn good. To the Colts side of things, Anthony Richardson, that throw that he made, that was, 60, 70 yards in the air to Alec Pierce? Oh, my God. And I said he's going to take a leap with Steichen in year 2. That throw was incredible. Whoa. I mean, my God, some of the throws these guys were making was like eye candy impressive. Wow. All right. But he also had a critical interception that was a huge play in the game that you go, oh, he's got to learn. And I know he played 5 games last year. The guy's 22. He'll keep getting better. Okay? But you can't do that. 9 to 19. 212 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, a pick, 6 carries, 56 yards on the ground, and a touchdown. Okay, Jonathan Taylor, 16 for 46 or 48. He'll run the ball. I still think he'll have a big year. Okay. Alec Pierce, 3 catches, 125 yards and a touchdown. Ashton Doolin, 54-yard touchdown. Defense, 4 sacks, 29 points allowed is a lot. But their front 4 isn't bad in Indianapolis. It's just, I've got questions about the back end, because Gus Bradley's so predictable with that cover 3 defense. Okay. 5 of 10 on third down. 2 of 3 in the red zone. And then 2 turnovers. The little things, you lost by 2 points, decided that game for you. Okay? And that was what the difference was in that game. Let's go to the Cowboys-Browns. I watched this game. And then by the second quarter, I was like tuning it out. And no, it wasn't because of Tom Brady's broadcasting debut. I actually didn't think he was that bad. Some people thought he was terrible. My dad and my cousin specifically thought he was terrible. But it's one game. I'm not going to judge him yet. At least he's... I could rather listen to him than Romo. I can't stand Romo anymore. Okay? I'd rather listen to him than Brady than Romo. Still would. No bias. Just would. Just to understand his intellect and like his intelligence is actually impressive. Really. But let's get to the game. Cowboys defense was awesome. Mike Zimmer, one of the top 5 coaching hires of the offseason. For Dan Quinn, Zimmer can coach defense, man. He was there in Dallas before with Parcells. He was there with, I think he was there with Barry Switzer and Dave Campo. I think he was with Campo before Switzer. Maybe I was wrong, but I know he was there when Dion was there. So I know it was definitely during the Dave Campo days. So that was 98. He was with Dallas. Then became the coordinator for Dallas before he went to Cincinnati. So Mike Zimmer, we know, can coach defense, right? So 2 interceptions, 6 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence, Micah Parsons, Eric Kendricks at 2 sacks each. That defense, man, again, we know those guys are damn talented up front. Trayvon Diggs came back, okay? Then that other kid that played really, really well, all right? That caught my eye. I forgot his name because I didn't write him on my notes, but He had some plays in there, right? That defense, man, is going to be seriously really good. The only thing I worry about, the only thing I'm going to really stress with the Cowboys is against the really good teams in the playoffs. Can their defense play well? And can Dak Prescott overcome those, I don't want to say demons, but can he overcome those struggles? That's all I care about. I don't care about anything else with that team other than December and January football. And in the playoffs. Because they need to do it now. All right? But my take on them being the Oakland Raiders of the NFC, rather than being they're addicted to building superstars and attracting superstars than team culture, that take will always stand. That's why Jerry Jones will never win a championship with Dallas. I will go down believing that. Okay? But Dak Prescott looked really good. Brandon Cooks had a touchdown. Zeke ran one in. They look good. Mike McCarthy did a good job play calling. No matter what you guys want to say, oh, he's going to be fired at the end of the year. Did a good job play calling. You got to give it where it's due. To Cleveland, man. Deshaun Watson, you in deep trouble, young man. Now listen, let's add some context before I dig deep into this. The man's father passed away last Friday, I want to say. So we forgot that. So I'm going to say that too. That had maybe a little something to do with how bad he played. But we got to throw that out. Not that out, actually. We got to throw out, oh, he took a year and a half off. Oh, he was injured. Deshaun looks bad, guys. Like, he looks horrible. And I'm going, wow, he fell off. Like, I watched him, I'm like, this is not the Deshaun Watson I remember watching in Clemson. Back-to-back national championship appearances. This is not the Deshaun Watson that I watched in Houston. And I'm going, what the fuck happened? Why does he look so bad? You know what I think? The year off really hurt him. Because he pulled a Le'Veon Bell and now it's backfiring on him. He's never been in the best condition since. He doesn't look the same going through progressions. He doesn't look the same with decision making. I feel like the game is sped up too fast for him. And you go, why would we ever say this about Deshaun Watson? Well, because he took a year off and he got suspended 2/3 of the year in 2022. And he's looked like shit since. Now, I didn't watch a lot of Cleveland in 22 and in 23. I didn't watch a lot of them. But let me tell you, one game, he looks horrible. Just look at the John Fanta rant video that he had. That was actually funny. I'm not going to lie. That was actually funny, but factual. He looks bad. And that contract that they traded for, forget it. You can't even cut him. It's fully guaranteed. No one wants to pay him all that money. And it's so bad to the point where they're asking for Jameis Winston to come in and relieve you. That's bad. I did not think they would be that bad. They got cooked both sides of the ball. Deshaun looked bad. Really, really bad. Okay? Rams-Lions. Watch this game on the road. Matt Stafford played awesome. 34-49 for 317 yards. He did have a pick early. Had a touchdown, right? But he played really well against his former team. Cooper Kupp on my fantasy team. Thanks for clutching the win, Cooper Kupp. 14 catches, 110 yards and a touchdown. I did get a little help with that Puka injury. But Cooper Kupp, man, I knew McVay's going to give it to his guy. And he's getting back into that 2021 season form. He might have a big year because the Rams are going to be surprising a lot of people with how good they'll be. And I have them as maybe the 4th or 5th best team in the NFC right now. They'll be fine. Sean McVay knows what he's doing. All right? They'll be fine. Okay? That young defense, though, is my only worry with them. That offensive line, too, because they lost, 3 starters in the Detroit game? That's concerning. Okay? For the Lions, Montgomery, game-winning rushing touchdown in overtime. 17 for 91 in the score. Jamison Williams, 5 catches, 121 yards and a touchdown. The Detroit Lions look really good. Hutchinson up front. Their secondary just they need to get a little bit better. Kirby Joseph's a good safety in the league. The Lions just have to be able to stop being too overly aggressive and learn how to blend managing the game combined with their managing through the inexperience. If they can do that, they'll be fine. Dan Campbell, I know he likes to go for it, but you got to know when to go for it and when you have to control the game, when you got the lead, and that's what you got to do. They blew a 17-3 lead. They were lucky that they were able to hang on and go to overtime. Keep that in mind. Detroit will be fine. They'll make the playoffs, I think. But Campbell, you got some signs where I'm like, just keep it simple. Go for it when you have to. And learn how to deal with the inexperience by fighting through that and learning how to close out games. Jets-Niners. McCaffrey was out. He's now on IR. Jordan Mason. Oh my God. 28 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown. For you fantasy nerds, whoever picked up Jordan Mason, good call for you. Really good call. That Shanahan system always works no matter what the running backs are, man. No matter what running backs are there, they always do awesome, right? And I think I remember hearing about him before Monday night, but in a limited role for only a few carries. But wow, on that defense, man, that's impressive, man. That's why Kyle Shanahan is one of the best offensive minds, if not the best offensive mind, maybe outside of Andy Reid in the NFL right now. That man, if he can get that Super Bowl win, which he had twice an opportunity to, we'd have a whole different light about him. But one of the best offensive minds in football right now. Very fun to watch him call plays and scheme up things. For the Jets, Rodgers was on. He was in. I mean, 13-21, 167 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. First game back off Achilles. The Niners own him. I'm not going to panic right now, but let me tell you though, man. Robert Saile, that little sand timer, that sand's starting to go down. Little bit at a time. That sand timer, when that timer runs out of sand, you better have some results. Because if you don't, he's gone. Hackett's gone. Rodgers might be gone. Welcome to heavy scrutiny. Because that's the world you guys are in. Because it's now or it was all for nothing. Let the scrutiny begin. Because Salah, that sand timer is ticking down. You got to start putting some results. If you don't get this shit fixed, you're going to be gone. Rodgers is going to be gone too. Rodgers will be gone. Nathaniel Hackett, gone. And then you guys will be back at the cellar looking for a quarterback again. It's what I know. It's what I know. So, 2 turnovers, run defense, 4.7 yards per rush. Oof. That's bad. But I don't think they'll be that bad going farther in the season. That I will agree with you on. All right. Let's go to the Buffalo Bills, Miami Dolphins on Thursday night. Now, let's get serious for a moment, guys. Because I criticized him mainly for his play on the field, but this, I'm not going to criticize for right now. All right? I'm going to get to the play in a little bit, but I got to talk about something serious here. When Tua put his helmet into DeMar Hamlin's chest, right? Now, there's shoulder pads, right? So when he put him in the lower part of the shoulder pad and he was down, I thought, oh no, not again. And your heart stops for a minute because you go, uh-oh. Please don't tell me something, the worst case scenario happened. Especially if you remember what happened 2 years ago in Cincinnati. That was a scary sight. But he was able to get up. I heard it was like his 4th concussion in the last 3 years or something like that. 3rd in the last 3 years, right? I think it was 4th or 3rd. 5 since he's gotten in the league. Tua, I know you just got paid. You gotta start looking out for your family, dude. Okay? Because the first thing what my mind thinks of when I think of concussions, I look at guys like Junior Seau. I look at guys like Mike Webster. I'm looking at guys that are having CTE problems. Shit's scary, man. Shit's also really sad. Okay? I watched the Junior Seau documentary, not this offseason, the last offseason. That was some sad stuff, man. Okay? And that was from concussions. Obviously, different era. They got it serious in 2010, right? But Troy Aikman retired due to concussions. You gotta start looking out for your family, man. Because if you're to that point where you start not remembering your parents, your family, your kids, if you have, that's really sad, and that means it's not going good. And what's crazy is he got drafted 2020, so we're looking at the dude is 26, 27. The dude still has his whole life ahead of him still, and you can't be risking this shit. I remember Wes Welker had concussions late in his career with Denver. I think he even had one pit stop with the Rams. But I remember Denver, he got a lot of concussions towards the end. And he stepped away. Like, Tua, you got to look out for your family, man. Okay? And I think Miami made the right call. Skylar Thompson comes in. Make sure he's right before you put him back in. But very lucky that it was not a situation like it was in Cincinnati, where that was even scarier in Cincinnati. Because that was what I was nervous when he collided with DeMar Hamlin's shoulder pad. That's what I was worried about. And I know I criticize him, I do. But you guys start looking out for your family too. Because you don't play around with stuff like that. Or learn to protect yourself better. That's what you got to do. But I guess he doesn't learn how to protect himself, and that's the dangerous side of the game, right? You got to slide. You got the first down, slide, get up, continue on with the series. No, you had to play hero ball, and sometimes it's not always worth it, right? 3rd concussion in the last 3 years, 4th, I think. You gotta start worrying about your health, man, protecting yourself. Not cool, man. Not cool. I gotta be serious for once, guys. I'm sorry, but that's a very sensitive issue that I have to tackle here on Loungetime. Gotta be serious in that moment. Let's get to the game highlights. James Cook, 11 carries for 78 yards, 2 touchdowns, a 17-yard receiving touchdown. Whoever had him in fantasy, man, you better win this week. You better go off, all right? Because that's a really, really great start for you. Defense, 10 points allowed, 3 interceptions, 2 sacks. If the Buffalo Bills played like this, they could win the Super Bowl. But will they? Probably not, because they're always cursed. And it's been cursed since Scott Norwood days. Okay? So that's the Bills. But if they play like that, they got a great shot at going out of the AFC. But they're going to have to deal with some teams on the way to get there. Tua in the game now. Now, I'm talking the game before he got hurt. This is where I'm going to be acting a little critical. 17-28, 140, bring my hand right, 145 yards, a touchdown, and 3 picks. The first one was behind, the second one was awful, and the third one he threw it right to the guy and he picked 6 you. He sucks versus elite teams. How many times do we need to see the same story over and over and over and over again before you know what a guy is. Everybody on Twitter that clowns me about Tua being the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, what are your eyes watching? Because you got him receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. He still doesn't win the big games. He's not a guy that can elevate a team to being a championship team. He's just not. He's not that good. And to me, he's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL right now. Now I'm talking about his play. I'm talking about his play now. Because I got to call it like I see it. I saw it in college. I'm seeing it in the pros. This is year 5 for him too. 2020, 21, 2, 3. Yeah, year 5. And you got paid 50-something million also. You ain't playing like a $50 million quarterback. Got to call it like I see it, guys. Got to call it like I see it. Devon Achane, who did good against Jacksonville, I didn't mention. But against Buffalo, 22 carries, 96 yards, 7 catches, 69 yards, and a touchdown out of the backfield. Right? 1 of 5 on 4th down against Buffalo. 7 penalties. And then 1 for 4 in the red zone. That ain't going to cut it, man. That ain't going to cut it. Miami just can't beat elite teams. I think they're 1-11 in the last 3 years against elite teams. And your only wins against Dallas. Is that really saying much? Nope. Nope. Sorry, guys. Fighting through. I'm tired. But I promise I'm going to get you some recordings in. All right. Let's go to the Week 2 picks. And let's get to the guarantees. So we're going to start off with the Week 2 picks, right? I'm going to make this quick. Cowboys-Saints. Derek Carr is not lighting up the Cowboys like he did to the Panthers. Dallas defense, they're going to get after Derek Carr. Get a turnover, maybe 2. It's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for the Saints. Cowboys, 34. Saints, 17. Lions, Tampa. A little surprised here. Not by the game, the line. 7.5? Am I missing something? 7.5? That's a lot of points. What? Baker Mayfield looked pretty damn good against the Commanders. They got Mike Evans. They got Chris Godwin. 7.5? At home? That's a lot. Tampa's not that bad. Maybe it's me. But I feel like it's a lot of points to lay with the Lions. I mean, I'm a betting man. You know what? Tampa Bay covers. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover 7.5. That's a lot of points, man. A lot of points. Played them tough in the divisional round playoff last year. Tampa Bay, plus 7.5. That's one guarantee. I'll repeat them all at the end. But the Lions win 28-23. Because I think the Lions have the guys to do it. I don't think Tampa can get enough pressure on Goff and get a win. Detroit 28, Tampa Bay 23. Colts Packers. Jordan Love out for the game. Malik Willis is starting. Anthony Richardson going to Green Bay. Dome team, it's not cold weather now, but I think they'll be fine in this one. I think the Colts have their way. If Saquon Barkley had his way, granted, the Colts offensive line is not the Eagles line, but if Saquon Barkley went off, Jonathan Taylor might. Give me the Colts to win 23-17 over the Green Bay Packers because I trust Anthony Richardson way more than Malik Willis. Jets-Titans. If you guys cannot stop Tony Pollard and Will Levis, let me tell you something. The Jets might be the opening story if they lose. The scrutiny has begun. Sand timer's ticking. Robert Saile, you're on the hot seat and on the clock. You better win this game. Because guess what? You're beating my Patriots in week 3. Because there's no way we're beating you in Jets. I'll be a man and admit that. But let me say this, bro. You don't beat the Titans, this guy's going to be falling early. Jets 23, Titans. No, Jets 27, Titans 10. My bad, I'll repeat it again. Jets 27, Titans 10. Jets dominate convincing fashion. And, do we have it for this game? No, I don't. We'll leave it. Jets 27, Titans 10. Niners, Vikings. Christian McCaffrey on injured reserve. Vikings beat them last year. Brian Flores had a pretty good game plan against Brock Purdy and Shanahan, right? So, do I like the Vikings with Sam Darnold quarterbacking? Not this matchup. But the Niners are without McCaffrey, and I don't know if Jordan Mason is going to have that same game. So, I'll take the Niners 24, Vikings 13. I don't think Sam Darnold does well against that Niners defense. Niners 24, Vikings 13. Let's go to the Chargers against the Panthers. I think this game, Jim Harbaugh traveling from Los Angeles to Carolina. I like this a lot as far as a survivor pick too. Only thing that scares me is it's Carolina's home opener and Chargers coming all the way from LA to Carolina. But I have faith in Jim Harbaugh to get it done. He's a great coach. 31-14, Chargers. Seahawks, Patriots. 2 rookie head coaches taking over for 2 legendary coaches in their respective teams. And I think Seattle's got a better roster than New England. I think that Seattle is DK Metcalf against Gonzo. Gonzo's got his hands full, but I think Gonzo will be fine. Smith and Jigba. Is Alex Austin going to be on him? I don't know if I like that matchup. Jonathan Jones and Tyler Lockett. That one I might like a little bit more. But, again, I think that Seattle's going to have their way. We just got to get Geno to turn the ball over. If we do that and we can keep away, we could win. But going Seattle 23, New England 16. Washington Commanders, New York Giants. The one team that Daniel Jones does own is the Washington Commanders. But Washington could score. Air raid. Cliff Kingsbury's the offensive coordinator now. I'm going to go with the Commanders to beat the Giants finally. This is in Washington. 28-20 over the Giants. Daniel Jones sucks, and I will forever believe that. Commanders 28, Giants 20 in a division rival game. Jacksonville, Cleveland. Both teams got some question marks, but the team that I trust the most, give me Jacksonville. I think they're going to struggle to run with ETN. Lawrence is going to bounce back against that defense, but they're going to need to get Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk. They're going to need to get some guys open. So I trust Jacksonville to find their way to do it. 26-19 Jaguars over the Browns in week 2. Jags go to 1-1. Cleveland drops to 0-2. Browns are bad, but defensively they'll be fine. Ravens, Raiders. I want to yawn so bad. I'm getting tired. This is a snooze fest. Ravens coming off 10 days rest. They're home against the Raiders, who have Aiden O'Connell starting at quarterback, or Gardner Minshew. No. And they gave up 100 and something yards to the Chargers rushing. Imagine Derrick Henry. No chance. Ravens, 38. Raiders, 9. Rams, Cardinals. Sneaky. Good game in a week. Sneaky good game in a week. How this line's a pick 'em, I'm kind of suspect about that. But give me Sean McVay and company to get a get-back win. But it's going to be a sweat over the Cardinals. 30-27. Rams beat the Cardinals 30-27. Rams win. Steelers, Denver. Smells like a shit offensive showing. Denver's defense might look good because their Pittsburgh's offense is suspect. Steelers defense will keep Bo Nix in check because I'm not the biggest Bo Nix fan at all. I don't think he's all that. Give me the Steelers to win. 17-13 over Denver. And I think that the Steelers, TJ Watt has a monster game. And I think the defense keeps Bo Nix in check. Chiefs and the Bengals. You bandwagons, once again, are so lucky that everything goes your way. So, you know what? Oh, but we have Mahomes. Mahomes can own Burrow. Bengals are not that good. Fuck you, Nick Wright. But you know what? I'm not going to lose my money betting on Bengals. I'm not going to do it. Bengals got some problems. So I'm going to take this one flush on the chin. You bandwagons, don't get happy that I'm rooting for you because I'm not, in truth. But you all better get your shit together. Give me Kansas City, 27. Bengals, 21. Texans-Bears. C.J. Stroud versus Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams sucks versus elite defenses. D'Amico Ryans has a really good defense. Give me the Texans, 30-13 over the Bears. Caleb Williams throws multiple interceptions. Eagles-Falcons. Kirk Cousins cannot beat the Eagles. Absolutely cannot. And he sucks in Monday night, prime time. Eagles 28, Falcons 16. Let's go to the guarantees. Number one, bet of the week. Baltimore team total over 26.5. They are going to light up the Raiders defense. Running game, Derrick Henry is going to go off. And I think that the defense will probably get a pick six on Minshew. Baltimore Ravens, team total over 26.5. That's number one. Number two, I'm going with Tampa Bay plus 7.5. I think that's way too much to the Lions. Way too much to the Lions. I think that Tampa Bay is better than a lot of people think. I know with the Commanders, the secondary is horrible. The Lions secondary is not all that. 7.5 is a lot of points. Give me the Bucs plus 7.5. That's number two. Number three, over 48. Rams, Cardinals. These teams are going to score. Kyle's going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball. Greg Dortch, Trey McBride. They got some receivers down there. Their secondary can't stop a cold. Cooper Kupp's going to have a big day, I think. All right? They had Tyler Johnson had a big day. They still got Demarcus Robinson over there. The Rams, Sean McVay is going to find a way to get his guys the ball. So give me the Rams, Cardinals over 48. It's going to be a scoring game. Number three. Number four, I'm going with the Texans over 27.5 team total. I think they're going to light up the Bears. I don't think the Bears are what people think defensively. I think Montez Sweat's a good player, okay? I think that Jalen Johnson's a good corner, but the Texans have so many wide receivers, it really doesn't even matter. Because I think they're going to score it well, and I think their defense is going to probably get maybe a takeaway for a touchdown on Caleb Williams. I'm going over 27.5 team total on the Texans, number four. Number five, I'm going under 36.5 of the Steelers and the Broncos. I do not think this is going to be an exciting game. It's going to be an under. Justin Fields is most likely starting. Bo Nix against that faulted pass rush. Hayward, Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt, nope. Under 36.5. Steelers, Broncos. I would have put the Patriots plus 3. I would have. I'm not confident about that, though. Okay? Not confident about that. All right? Last thing, let's get to Survivor. All right? Now, I use the Saints and the Bills. So if you want to use the Saints and Bills this week, I advise not. Okay? Hopefully you didn't put the Bills in. Hopefully you don't even take the Saints, too, against Dallas. That's a very ballsy call. Now, the teams that I would consider. I consider the Jets. I consider the Texans. Okay, I think the Texans they could beat the Bears. The Jets I would consider. I would have thought the Colts, but I'm a little skeptical about them against Green Bay. I just don't have that great confidence. Those would be the three that I would have in behind the top two I'm going with. Now, the top two I'm going with, and you guys could join in if you want. You guys could go against me. But here's my rankings. Baltimore Ravens beat Las Vegas. That's number one, as stated earlier. Number two, the Chargers beating the Panthers. If the Saints lit up the Panthers, I can only imagine Jim Harbaugh is going to run that ball, and he's going to eat up that Carolina defense. And Derek Brown, their best defensive lineman, is out for the season, who's a run stopper. This game screams Jim Harbaugh run the ball once again, and he's going to play defense, old school smash mouth football. Chargers are number two. So Ravens, Chargers are my top two for Survivor this week. That's who I'm rolling with. If you want to pick the Jets, if you want to pick not the Titans, the Jets, Texans, or Colts, I won't fault you. I wouldn't recommend it personally, but those would be my choices. All right, if I'm going Survivor. So let's go over the guarantees. Baltimore Ravens are going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Drawing a blank, fighting through it though. However, we're going to still roll with it. The Chargers are going to beat the Carolina Panthers. The Baltimore Ravens team total will go over 26.5. The San Francisco 49ers, I forgot about this. This is another one of my guarantees. The Niners-Vikings, under 46. Defense, I don't expect the Vikings to score. The Niners, I don't think they will be that explosive offensively. Sam Darnold gets a couple picks. Under 46, Niners-Vikings, that's actually dead last. My apologies, guys. I missed one. Tampa Bay will cover 7.5 against the Lions. Give me the 7.5 with Tampa. Over 48. The game will go over. Rams-Cardinals. That game will go over 48. Steelers-Denver will go under 36.5. Dead under. And the Texans, team total, will go over 27.5 points. But the Ravens are going to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. And the Chargers are going to beat the Carolina Panthers. Guarantee, baby. Woo! We're doing it Charles Barkley style. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so that way you guys can get all the latest updates on the 2024 season. We got so many guests to look forward to coming on. You don't want to miss the season. It's going to be great. All right? Plus, you can follow us at X at Loungetime Pod. I post Thursday night predictions on there. Okay? And if you guys have a question you guys want me to talk about on the show, I have no problem talking about it. Gives me more content. Gives you guys a different taste of some stuff that we could try out for the season. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Loungetime. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next week from the road on the next episode of Loungetime. Have a great NFL Sunday, everybody.